Hey Noah,
Hey, how's it going?
good, good. How are you doing?
Okay, just dominating Rook.
Nice.
Looks like we have a participant, James. Hi, James.
Hey, Noah and
Hi
Neha, how
James.
you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. So I guess I just wanted to say I've been watching your DocUBetter meetings, and I've been actively kind of participating in the Ceph community for documentation for a little while, and yeah, I love Ceph. I've used it in a lot of capacities, and if anything I can do to help with the documentation, I'm open.
Awesome.
Sorry if I
Glad you could
interrupted
make it to this meeting.
anything.
All right. So which time zone are you in?
I'm located in the U.S., so it's 9 o'clock my time, Eastern time.
Yeah, I figured it's late. We are both in Pacific time, so it's not that late for us yet. All right, so I think so there's a pad, the chat. I think I
Okay,
started adding a few things in it. So last week, I think we made two pull requests. One, I think, let me just pull them up. I think I added the YouTube links to the getting started page.
nice.
And then there was Gabriella, intern with Red Hat, who actually was supposed to be in this meeting today as well, but I don't see her yet. So she was going through the getting started document as well, and she found a few things. And I think this one just fixes the test links. Okay, I think I linked the wrong PR. This is the updated one. No, she had some questions about what you had said about removing repeated rows in that releases page or something.
Oh, was this it? This is in the email?
Yeah, it was in the email thread. So I think you mentioned something like removing some repeated rows, and I think we do have some repeated rows in the release schedule or something, where we have the same month listed multiple times. Then each row kind of adds a particular latest release for a version, like let us say
Mm-hmm.
Luminous.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you meant?
Yeah, I can. Uh, let me just post a link to an example.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I guess I can't actually link directly to it, but if you look at the schedule, the set release. Yeah, I think this is what you were saying. So basically, if you look on the left-hand side of the
Hmm.
timeline, you'll see like March 2019 and then
Right.
March 2019. Yeah. Okay. So
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, we're talking about the same thing, I think.
Yeah, I think we're talking about this. I think that's
Okay.
what she understood as well. So she wanted to make sure she understands it correctly before she fixes it.
Oh
So
yeah.
okay, I think okay. So that's good. I think this is clearly something that can be cleaned out.
It's not. Um, you know, I should have. I thought my description was obvious, so I didn't reread the
Mhm.
email. But I'll go back and like I can respond to it directly. Also, I mean, this is definitely this is like a programming problem. Like it's not a documentation problem. So just to make sure we have like somebody working on it that can do that.
Yeah, I mean she's a Ceph intern. I think she's working on some Ansible stuff or something. So I think that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
But we can help her through it if required.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Okay, those are a few things, and there's one more thing. So this happened to actually her, and she ended up creating a pull request using the edit on GitHub link. And I think there is a place to sign off your commit when you create that pull request, but maybe she missed that or she did not find it or whatever. Then later it becomes very difficult to add that signed off by until unless you have to just go to a force push or something. So I was just wondering, how can we make it more obvious to people who are creating pull requests just using the web UI that you need to this is the time you should be signing off your commits. I know even I think Greg had the same problem once where he tried to edit something directly using the editor, and then it caused a lot of problems.
I mean, there is like when you use the edit button,
it pops up, right? It pops up with the.
Well, I mean, it says, do you want to? So, like, I think I don't feel like this should be a problem because you can't commit directly to master.
Right.
And whenever you want to do an edit, doesn't it always make you go through a pull request? So it's not like there's it's not like there's a
no, it's
button
not
to
that
push where you like mess up the main.
No, I think the problem is more that for people who do not know that there should be a signed off by, and if you miss it during creating the pull request, then it becomes the whole point of using the web UI is gone, right? And you have to go and use editor. So that's I don't know. It's a.
I think this is like yeah. I mean.
Are the other thing in general also, the signed off by is a big problem. A lot of even people who are not using the edit on GitHub, it's very difficult to just make them, because sometimes people just go and edit their comment, which comes up with the PR, and they think that the test is going to, the signed off by check is going to pass, but it doesn't. So I think, I don't know, I've been thinking about it, maybe loosening some of those requirements for doc PRs and or something is.
I mean, how big of a problem is it really? I mean, it feels like
it's such a big problem that people actually close their pull requests because they don't understand what they need to do sometimes if they're not very familiar with like doing a git amend or something like that. And that
have we turned away any significant changes?
We haven't like turned away significant, but we might have lost some new contributors, people who could have just made one-line changes and gotten a commit into Ceph might not have been able to do that because there is this thing. I understand that signing the commit is important. We've done everything, like, you know, when you even create a pull request, it says a bunch of things, but I think it's still not obvious.
I mean, you could like, I feel, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you could like ask people to agree to some, I mean, you could basically say like signed off and then just like we could manually edit the commit.
That's kind of what I was thinking, or maybe just have an override for the signed off check that if we think that that's the hurdle for that person to contribute, we can maybe override it for the first time if somebody's contributing for the first time. But let us say if you're a seasoned contributor and you're just missing a signed off by, that doesn't qualify for that override. So if we see this first time person trying to commit, you try to tell them once or twice, they don't understand, then try to do something for them maybe. But I know it's also a topic for a broader audience. A lot of people have to agree because some people just might not think this is the right thing to do.
Yeah, I was just looking at like, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know. I mean, if it's a problem, we should definitely address it. It's like I'm just really surprised that like there's enough people coming over and using the web UI to like make to warrant a concern. But
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I mean, web UI, it came to my mind because I think Gabriella, when she was creating this pull request, she missed the signed off by. And after that, she had no way to edit it just by using the web UI. So you have to go through the whole process
yeah,
again. That's
yeah.
what brought to my mind as well, that I've seen a bunch of PRs that come in where we tell them to sign it off, tell them the commands, but then somehow it's difficult for first-time contributors.
I wonder
I
what
don't know.
other projects do. Like, so if you think about like, I mean, Ceph has a lot of contributors, but Ceph has a small number of contributors compared to some of these projects that are like
Yeah.
really huge. And like they must handle this somehow. Maybe they maybe they just don't require signed off by.
I
Signed
don't
off
know.
by seems to be some sort of kernel holdover from the kernel or something.
I don't
I
know
mean,
what do you think, James? I mean, we are both people from the inside, but it'd be interesting
Yeah.
to hear what do you think. Has it been a hurdle for you ever, or have you seen other people having problems with it?
Yeah, good question. I'll be honest, I'm still very much a beginner in programming in general, I guess. But when I submitted my first PR to Ceph, I was, I was lost too when I did the signed off. Well, I remember when it was first reviewed, just the whole idea of Git in general to me was a mystery. So signing off my commits and everything, I definitely had to learn that and kind of read the documentation too. So I could see where it's kind of it may be for first time contributors like you were saying, a problem. Um, I mean, I guess and I go back and forth between using the if I want to use the UI for GitHub, I can use that, or I can go on the command line and do it that way. But I kind of see where that might be for a first time contributor that, or how that could be an obstacle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
definitely
I guess
feel. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
pretty good. No, I was just saying, typically in the web UI, I just had to kind of commit to my memory, make sure you had the signed off by the commit message that GitHub provides. Because if you don't, then you're going to have to go through, pulling that branch back down, rebasing it, or doing a commit amend or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that if signed off by is really a mechanism that was created to sort of like uh, record, I don't know, like some sort of notion that you are the creator of this code and you like have copyright on the thing you're creating. Like maybe it makes sense to just relax it for documentation. Right? It's just like
Yeah.
who's
Yeah.
there's no IP being created or like it's
Yeah, plus you have the pull request, and you can always go and edit the first comment that most people usually tend to do when we ask them to add a signed off by. So every time there's a commit, there's a pull request associated, so you can go and figure out who the person was.
yeah.
So I mean, two things. One, we either relax it completely and we say it's okay not to have a sign off by in a doc PR, or we have a proper you know, step-by-step method of teaching the person who doesn't know what the hell a git commit amend means, or like
Hmm.
how to add that signed off by, what does git commit sign off mean, to help that person when we say like now these days we just say why don't you add a sign off by, instead of doing that we just have like a video or like a
Mm.
step-by-step doc that we
Oh, that's a good
say
idea.
that
That'd be
is
cool.
going to. Hey, Gabriella.
Hi.
You were just talking about one of the challenges that you had with your doc PR about signing off the PR, where once you missed it, you had a hard time adding that.
Yeah.
So we kind of discussed two things. Either we relax the sign off by requirement for doc PRs completely, where we say it's okay not to sign off a doc PR, or we relax it for new contributors who are just trying to get acquainted with Ceph or trying to make their first contribution. Or we have like a very structured way of explaining to the new user how a commit needs to be signed in whatever possible ways. Either if the person has used the web UI, there should be a different procedure, and if this person has just not added it while just doing a git commit, then there should be another procedure. So those are kind of the ideas, but something is better than nothing. Currently, we just keep saying add signed off by. That doesn't help much. Let's get started on that maybe. That's one of the next things we should just get figured out.
Maybe, I mean, just deciding if we can relax the requirements seems like the first steps. So like if basically somebody's like, we just don't want to make exceptions for like this very like specific edge case, then we can go ahead and make the video.
Sounds good. Yeah, I think we can take that question to Sage and other people who can make that decision. I'm sure Sage is going to be fine with like having more people contribute to Ceph if that helps, but we'll get buy-ins from other people as well. So I can help that discussed, and I can get back by the next meeting.
Cool.
If I can give some input, I think both are really good options. Personally, so as Neha mentioned, I did struggle a lot with adding the signature, but with her guidance, it didn't seem as complicated as I thought it was. So I think a video could be really helpful, or like some sort of documentation providing like the step-by-step procedure for that, especially if adding the signatures is a typical convention or like across all Ceph repositories. But if you feel that you'll get more contributions from people outside of the team, if you are more lenient with that, then that's also a good choice.
Yeah. I kind of feel having that video helps either ways. Even just having it in the getting started page might just be useful. So. Okay, so I'll make a note of that in the Etherpad.
I'm also seeing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you should go. I don't have anything really to say important.
I'm looking at the second link that Noah sent in the chat, and it's for the releases schedule. I don't know if you saw the email that I sent. I don't know if yesterday or earlier today. Was this the schedule that you were referring to with the duplicate rows?
Oh yeah. Sorry for not responding. Just been swamped. But yeah, so if my email wasn't clear, it was just like there would be like 2 or 3 marches, but then just one entry in each row. It'd be nice to have like one row with all 3 entries. So yeah.
Okay, all right. So I think those are kind of the topics I had. Noah, anything else on your mind? Anything else you want to talk about?
No.
No.
The dog is crazy. I was gonna say like maybe it would be useful to, well, you don't really have to ask if you don't want to, but like I'm just curious if signed off by is like required anymore at all, or if it's just something that people just have muscle memory for. You know, like I don't like I just have Git set up so I don't even have to do -s. Like it just adds signed off to everything I commit without like so it's almost as if it doesn't have any meaning anymore. And you know, like huge projects like don't use that stuff. So I guess I'm just curious, like if people just like don't think about it to really serve any purpose today. I'm curious about it, but
that's a good point, and I also think that the signed off by a check is pretty recent. If you look at Ceph, I think it got added 2-3 years ago. As like a check.
Oh yeah. It's
as a check on the
right.
As a must have
Right.
to merge a PR. Earlier it wasn't a must have, so that's maybe there were reasons then to do that as well. So maybe it's a good time to at least revisit and see if those still stand.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay, no, I get your point. No, but is it really required? At least for doc PRs, is it really required? And if not, then why waste the effort of creating a video or like all that?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's something I can check and report by the next meeting.
Cool.
Yeah, so other than that, any other topics for discussion today?
I think so.
James, Gabriella, anything else you guys want to talk about?
Nope.
Cool. Gabriella, thanks for looking through that, contributing to Ceph document, and I'm sure if we can get both the ideas that you had, it's going to be better than what we had. So thanks again. All right, if I also don't have anything else, so if you don't, I think we can call it a meeting. Have a good evening, everybody. See you guys later. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
See everybody. Thanks for having me.
Bye, James.